They've taken their last exams, picked up their caps and gowns. Now the senior class of 2026 is soaking in every moment, from awards assemblies to storied school traditions. If anything proves it, it's this: the tassel really is worth the hassle.
Election Day is May 16th, and voters will decide on a constitutional amendment that could reshape the future of every teacher in Bossier Parish and across Louisiana. Just ahead, we're breaking down Amendment 3 that could lock in a permanent teacher pay raise if it passes. Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to On the Record with Bossier Schools. This is our last episode of this season. I'm Jason Rowland.
I'm Sonia Bales. Where in the world does time go? It seems like we were just kicking off the 25-26 school year and also the beginning of season 4 of our podcast. This weekend, though, is graduation for Bossier Parish schools, marking the end of a 12-year academic journey for our seniors and the start of a new one.
Their last day was a week ago today, and so following final exams and senior award ceremonies, our seniors have enjoyed a trip down memory lane. They've been doing a lot of senior walks and going back into their elementary schools and really soaking up the tradition and embracing this time of year. And we want them to. We want to celebrate and enjoy really a wonderful time of year for our senior class.
It has been exciting just to be on the journey with them. It's kind of their farewell tour of sorts. As you said, soaking up just every moment and creating those lasting memories that are going to last a lifetime. We invite you to come along as the senior class of 2026 celebrates the end of an era.
Through Bossier Schools, I'm going to remember like all the kind people that I met and all the kind teachers, everything that I love about Parkway. I just love it here.
All this, I'm not going to see as many people as I used to. I mean, I've been going to school with these people forever. And now I'm going to hardly see them, so it's a little sad, but it's also a little great because I get to start a new chapter in my life. Do instrumentation or engineering. Hopefully go to a school that my papa, grandfather was a chancellor of, and knowing if he was still around, he'd be more proud than anything for me to go there. And yeah.
I'm excited to start my new journey.
Which is what?
I'm majoring in education, so.
And you're going to?
You will.
What are you going to remember the most, miss the most about Parkway?
The people. They're like, everybody's energy is like really, really good. Like the whole school, like the school as a whole is a good school, and everybody here is just like one big family.
What was that like? Was that kind of fun?
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
You remember these kids?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I was cleaning out some things today and I found some paperwork where I had conference with each one of these kids when they were in the 5th grade about test scores and things like that. So it was kind of a neat memory.
So your wishes for them, what would you like to say to the graduating seniors, all of whom you know?
Follow your dreams, keep trying, don't give up, remember where you came from.
That was Kim Meter, our principal of Elm Grove Elementary, who you heard at the end. She's retiring after 30 years in education, so this particular senior walk was bittersweet for her. She remembers all of those students coming through her school, but also just a lot of memories being created for our seniors. They came out in droves to be able to remember the senior walks and also just to encourage the elementary kids who are there, giving them high fives and looking up to them, dreaming of the day that they'll be able to go through the halls and do the same.
Absolutely. This is actually really a week and a half celebration.
It is.
It really turns into that, which we're a big fan of. And that's what you get in Bossier Schools with a lot of the traditions that have come about over the years. And look, we want to celebrate them. And that really leads into what we're going to do next, which is the culminating event, which is our graduations. And we want to talk about that. Plain Dealing is going to hold its commencement ceremony at 6 o'clock this Friday, May 15th at Plain Dealing High School. It's a very, very unique graduation. Always a fun time to be there.
They still have it on the field, don't they?
Well, it just depends. No, we've moved it in the gym.
Inside the gym.
In the gym, it's a little easier for people to seat and hear. And usually in May, it's pretty warm.
It's already warm.
And so we moved it in there where the AC is, but it's really a special night. Then all other schools are going to graduate on Saturday, May 16th at Brookshire Grocery Arena. Benton's going to kick us off at 9 a.m., followed by Halton High School at 11. At 1 o'clock will be the Bossier High Bearcats, then Parkway at 3 p.m. And we'll finish up the day with our Airline High graduation at 5 p.m.
Now, if you're going to be attending graduation this Saturday at Brookshire Grocery Arena, just a few reminders to pass along that balloons, banners, and noisemakers are not allowed. Totes must be clear and no larger than 12 inches by 6 inches. If purses, wallets, or clutches aren't clear, they can be no larger than 6 by 9. Also, no professional cameras, tripods, or selfie sticks, no strollers or car seats are permitted, and no outside food or drinks.
We're so proud of our graduates, and as a former principal at the graduation ceremony, I realized that when I spoke to them, there was nobody really listening, right? All they wanted to do, the parents there, the families that are there, they want to see their child walk across the stage and get the diploma and take the picture. But I said one thing that I hope stuck with them. This is not the end.
That's right.
In essence, it's really the beginning. And so we're proud of them. We can't wait to see where they go. This is a special class. The class of 2026 is also graduating in the same year we are commemorating our nation's birthday, our 250th birthday. So we're tying that in and going to make that a real special day for them as we get to their ceremonies.
These seniors are graduating so well prepared. Just going to, a few of the senior award ceremonies and hearing all of the money that they have earned in scholarships and, all the different awards. I can't wait till we see the grand total, if you will, but they are going places. That is for sure.
Well, we talk all the time on our podcast and pretty much everywhere you and I go about the opportunities that you have in Bossier Parish. Well, not only is that just in all the things you can be a part of, but it's also financial opportunities that are there, that are in front of you if you so decide to apply for those things and then apply yourself to achieve that. Just another example of how Bossier Schools really tries to meet our students where they are and then try to take them where they want to go.
In fact, 2 more examples of that. There are 2 Airline High seniors celebrating exciting news aside from graduation. They are the winners in the 2026 Congressional Art Competition. Macy Howard won first place with her painting titled A Moment at Cypress Black Bayou. Christiana Washington placed 3rd for Monarch of the Marsh.
Macy received a call from someone very special to Bossier Schools, House Speaker Mike Johnson, who commended her for winning the 4th Congressional Art Competition. we're so proud of Macy, and we've always gone to those in-person things.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always said, I want one of our students to win that. And so this year it came to fruition. We didn't get to have the in-person ceremony that Mike has come back and done for us.
He's been a little busy lately.
Just a little bit busy, but we thank him for taking time to call us there. She and her mom are going to be flying up to Washington, where she'll be recognized there, and then Macy's work, as in the past, is then going to be displayed for the next year inside the U.S. Capitol. I can't wait to see, a Bossier Parish school highlighted in the Capitol, and everyone knows that Mike is really passionate about where he's from.
Absolutely. And it shows in their paintings too, with Cypress Black Bayou. By the way, shout out to Jamie Hill, their art teacher. She taught both Macy and Christiana. Outstanding work. By the way, there is another prestigious honor that we want to mention. Dr. Vicki Younger, the director of Bossier Schools Special Education Department, is the recipient of the 2026 Betty McCauley Spirit of Excellence. The 31-year educator was surprised with the award at the district's Celebration of Excellence banquet.
Dr. Younger is in her second year at the helm of our special education department, and in short time, she has transformed the department by harnessing a visionary leadership. This award serves as a living tribute to its namesake. Betty McCauley, who retired from Bossier Schools after 50 years, she was the cornerstone of how we came about securing and identifying somebody that represented the same excellence that she did while she was here. So a special thanks to Bonvenue Bank for our sponsorship of our Celebration of Excellence banquet, as well as to everyone that helped put that on. And they're also a sponsorship of our On the Record with Bossier Schools podcast. So thanks to Jason Smith and his entire team for how they support not only our podcast, but Bossier Schools overall.
Absolutely. Congratulations again to Dr. Younger. Up next, Saturday is Election Day, and voters will be deciding on 5 consequential amendments, one of which could pave the way for a permanent teacher pay raise.
When we come back, we'll go on the record and break down Amendment 3.
Hi, I'm Lisa Hyde with Bonvenue Bank, proud partners with Parkway High School. Win the day!
Hi, I'm Mason Moore with Bonvenue Bank, proudly partner with Houghton High School to win the day. Go Bucks!
Hey, Daryl Pruitt with Bonvenue Bank. We're proud partners with Bossier High School to win the day. Go Cats!
Welcome back to On the Record with Bossier Schools. When Louisiana voters go to the polls this Saturday, they will see this measure on the ballot. Do you support an amendment to fund a $2,250 teacher pay raise, an $1,125 support staff pay raise by utilizing the remaining savings from paying down the debt of the teachers' retirement system of Louisiana with monies from certain constitutional funds? Well, we're going on the record with Bossier Schools Superintendent here to discuss the ins and outs of Amendment 3 and how a permanent pay raise would be funded, and also how passage would affect our district as a whole. There's a lot of information out of there, also some misinformation and disinformation about it. So we just wanted to be able to clear the record. And of course, while Bossier Schools, no public school system for that matter, can take a position on any sort of ballot measure, it is our obligation to educate and to inform our public as to how something would impact Bossier Schools. So with that said, let's peel back the layers and let's dive in and talk about what's at stake. First of all, Louisiana's public school teacher salary continues to lag behind the Southern regional average. For the last 3 years, though, the Louisiana legislature has approved a one-time stipend. Those have totaled $2,000 per year for teachers and $1,000 for support workers. Those are one time, though. So let's first of all talk about how Amendment 3 would potentially change that.
Well, Amendment 3 is it's an effort to where we're going to take 3 quality funds that are used as funding sources for schools, for school systems, public school districts around the state, and they're going to liquidate those to pay down this massive debt that TRSL, our teacher retirement system, has accrued really since its inception of August 1st of 1936.
I don't think most people realize that it's been around for 90 years.
90 years. And so when you look at 90 years and you started a retirement program at that point in time, and it was immediately in debt then, of course, the debt has accrued over 90 years, upwards now of $7 billion. And so not only is the debt still there, but there's interest on the debt the state has to pay each year, which is right at approximately $300 million. And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And so the effort is to consolidate those, liquidate those, and pay down that debt. Now, in doing that, the school systems will now be charged less for teacher retirement. Right now, we're paying at 20.95% retirement for teachers on their every month. That debt or that deficit could be reduced to 14.06. So it brings the school system's cost down. And what that does is the savings, air quote savings, from not having to pay that much into retirement because the state has decided to take funds and pay down the deficit, it frees up monies for us that was dedicated to retirement that now can be moved over and can supplement salaries.
Let me back up with you real quick, just so our audience understands, because we talked about TRSL being created 90 years ago, and it was unfunded. It has remained unfunded. Every school district, public school district, shall I say, in the state of Louisiana has to pay into the retirement system, correct?
Every employee that is in TRSL. Now, most school systems have two different retirement systems that they're in, but we're focused on the teacher retirement of Louisiana. And it's a strong retirement. I have people all the time tell me, "Boy, I wish I had y'all's retirement." And so we're blessed by that. But an effort to even strengthen that retirement does wonders for our retirees. It does wonders for those of us that are close to retirement. And then it will give confidence for those that are continuing to work in the system that will not have to worry about retirement. The goal to pay off that $7 billion debt is 2040. And so being able to put $2+ billion toward that, I really think it's a wise move by the legislature. It's a wise move for the retirement system and for our retirees. I think there are a lot of opinions about this bill that are out in public. There's a lot of opinions that have been written about what people think. But as we listened to the governor yesterday give us actual facts about that, they're not opinions, they're actual facts. They're concrete evidence about this. As an educator, I can see nothing but a positive gain for Bossier Schools. Now, on the other side of that, there are some smaller districts that depend on those three quality funds to support some of the things they do. And I certainly respect their positions and what type of position this is going to place them in. However, we heard the governor say yesterday, it is recorded that the state will backfill where there are shortfalls. And so just to give you an example, a little bit about the savings for Bossier Schools compared to what we receive from those three funds every year. So we get about $802,000 on average out of those three funds. It's EAF and 8G. Those are the two main funds that are put together with the quality funds.
And these, by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt, but they come from a tobacco settlement, right? And also like some offshore mineral production. Revenues from that go into these three educational funds.
And these funds have an accrued balance, and they continue to accrue from that. All the legislature can disseminate is the interest off of that. Bossier Parish is very blessed to have a beef fund,
right,
which is in the same vein as EAF, which is the same concept. So that the interest generated is about $68 million per year. Well, there's 70 plus public school districts in Louisiana, and so you divide that by 70 or 68 million by 70. You're going to see what we get about 802,000. So that fund helps us to support early childhood education and a few smaller other things that we do. Now, let's talk about what it will save us as far as paying 20.95% down to 14.06. That's almost a savings of $9 million.
So you have more than enough to be able to make up the difference.
We have enough to give the raise that the state is mandating to professional and support staff, as well as to pre-K teachers that are not included in this, as well as all of our maintenance techs, all of our maintenance support staff, and our transportation team who are in a different retirement. We have enough money to give all of them the $2,250 and or the $1,125.
What about sustaining the programs that currently receive funding from these three educational funds? You mentioned pre-K, early childhood education.
Well, in theory, and we've looked at it, every which way we can, with giving the raise to our professional staff and support staff, we feel like we're still going to have enough money we're going to have enough money from the savings to almost fully provide for the sustainability of our programs that we have in place, that 8G and the E Fund have allowed us to do. Mm-hmm. And then, as we heard yesterday, again, I hate to keep going back to that, but the governor had a video call with us yesterday and explained to us that anything we're short, that the legislature is committed to backfilling. Those were the words he continued to use. Backfilling where we are short to make us whole.
It's also important to note that the interest from those three educational funds cannot be used toward teacher salaries. It's very specific as to what it can be used for. Educational programs, but again, not teacher salaries, not any sort of capital improvements for a district.
Not at all. And it's the same way that the B Fund in Bossier is set up. Bossier Parish is the only parish in the state that has its own beef fund, which is Bossier Education Excellence Fund. Mm-hmm. And that money, it has the same stipulations. You cannot pay teachers with it, you can't build stuff, it's all for the curriculum side of things. So we're blessed to have that funding source as well, but we can't use it for enhancing the educational experience of our teachers through their pay. So we say all that to say this, is that as an educator, I would be negligent in my job if I did not support and fiercely advocate for teachers in Bossier Parish and really for across the state, but more so for our teachers in Bossier Parish and our employees in Bossier Parish. Because if this does not pass, there's two things out of this. It not only means that the teachers do not get a raise, but it means very likely they're going to take a cut. So, to my knowledge, there is no funding source for that annual fall stipend
that they've been getting for the last 3 years.
They've been getting for the last more than 3 years. Okay. The previous administration had provided the supplement and then basically left to the next administration to put this into the teacher's salary. The new administration came in and they just continued on with the stipend. And as you heard the governor say yesterday, been cobbling together the monies to get that. So as of today, there is no funding source for the stipend if Amendment 3 doesn't pass.
So no $2,250 for teachers, $1,125 for support staff, in addition to perhaps that stipend that you're talking about. I mean, neither one would happen, is what I'm saying, if Amendment 3 did not pass.
And so the $2,000 and $1,000 our employees have gotten, like you said, for the past 3 or 4 years, there's no guarantees that there's no funding source for that in the budget going into the fall. The legislature is banking on the fact that Amendment 3 will pass.
How does this impact retirees, or does it?
Well, it enhances the retirees, first of all, confidence in the retirement system, number one. I mean, anytime you can work towards solvency of a deficit, I mean, what does that do for you? I mean, as long as we're still having school systems and public schools in Louisiana, which are the strongest part of the education system in the state, as long as you continue to have that, you'll continue to have people pay into it. Now, the beautiful part about this is, it appears that we are going to continue to see an incremental decrease in the percentage that districts are going to have to pay in per employee for retirement. And that's a big benefit to us because, again, we're not going to take that money and just stick it in a savings account. School funding sources are not meant to be savings accounts. We're going to continue to try to enhance that teacher, that employee experience through pay. And so we may continue to see that. And as a future retiree, closer than some people are, closer than not, I mean, it gives me just a lot of confidence and peace of mind to know that our legislature and our governor is working toward a solvency of a deficit, $7 billion. If we can put $2.3 billion toward that, you reduce interest on how much you're having to pay, that frees up money for other things. And as he said yesterday, he is committed to K-12 education, public education in the state of Louisiana. He's proud of the work that's going on in our schools. He's proud of the growth that we're seeing across the state of Louisiana. And he actually said he wants to even put more money into public education. So there's a lot on the line May 16th. And I encourage everyone to get out and vote. I'm not telling anybody how to vote. I'm just telling you that I am an advocate for teacher pay and for our teachers getting every dime they can, because as we've said, everything matters in our school system.
It helps us come from a stronger position of recruiting and retaining the highest caliber of educators for our children, the caliber of teachers that they deserve.
And that is a passion of our board. Now, our board is extremely generous, and they support teachers and our employees, and they are not shy about it at all. If you remember, just last year they gave a 4.5% raise out of board funds, out of the general fund. Just last week they approved a summer send-off stipend of $2,000 and $1,300 for our employees. These are totally separate.
Has nothing to do with Amendment 3.
Nothing to do with Amendment 3. These are just monies that our board says, you know what, our employees have done a great job. They work hard. What do we have that we can give them? And that's their spirit and that's their attitude about it. And I tell you what, you got a board like that, then you've got a progressive school system. You are really going to do some great things, and that's what they've allowed us to do.
Well, hopefully this sheds some insight to our audience members about Amendment 3 and how it impacts every school district, particularly Bossier Schools. Again, we encourage you to exercise your right to vote again on Saturday, May 16th. That is a wrap of this episode of On the Record with Bossier Schools.
Be sure to subscribe everywhere you can. You can find us all over any of the podcast apps, any of the platforms. And look, we're going to take a break for the summer, but we're going to come back with season 5. So please like and subscribe up to the channel. Make sure you check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Podbean, and of course, YouTube. Anywhere you can find, listen, and watch, just look up, search for On the Record with Bossier Schools, and you'll find me and Sonia, hopefully, and hopefully we've had good things to say. Until next year, you're up to date.
Have a good summer.
This has been a Bossier Schools production. Join us next time when we go On the Record with Bossier Schools.